Welcome back to Politics Watch. This is Sir P. Now today I'm going to be talking about two topics in this video. One will be something that I should have talked about in the video yesterday, but you know, the whole conveyor belt and the part of the local youth kind of get lost into that because they know that's priority. Right? Young youths are more passionate about that topic than talking about their favorite 87. That's just the thing though. Right? But there's something I should have mentioned yesterday. I'm going to talk about it now because there's a weapon in that video. But the JCF, JDF, right, the powers that be, need to take that weapon off of the road ASAP. Also, some new information come to light surrounding the Ministry of Education. $120 million. People gone on quote unquote leave. We have to talk about it, especially since the NIA came out and addressed it. Right? And there's some things that more put out again about the NIA. I've said this before in a long time video, as by now you probably realize I have almost 1,000 videos. Right? Very few people have watched all of them. Right? But I spoke about the NIA before, right? I'm going to talk about them again. Right? But before we go any further, I want to send a special Patreon birthday shout out to Hopeton. You know, normally I would say I hope somebody have a great day and enjoy themselves, but in this instance, the person literally named Hope. Fun fact, Hopeton is actually the name of a town in America. Hopeton literally means town of hope. So bro, with that said, I hope you live long and prosper. And I hope your goals and ambitions come to reality. But remember, hope only goes so far in the day, and you have to put in the work. So big up yourself, see? We can move into the video. That right there is a screen grab from the same video that I was talking about yesterday. The one you hear the little boy says, Zuki, watch it. This is when time 87 started off some rounds. Now as usual, when things are come out, there's normally a scramble. Right, every man I said them don't know nothing about that, right? The video come from Mars, right? That's not even Jamaica, that a Mars, some alien night, right? Them don't know nothing about it. Because obviously man knows so they might come under pressure now. Right, so regardless of where the video was shoot, what we do know is that the video is in fact from Jamaica and involved Jamaicans. That means this weapon is in Jamaica, in the hands of 87s. That right there is the HK G3, Bone Broker and Widowmaker. One of the most infamous old school battle rifles. I mean, some armies still use it nowadays, but a modified version, because this version we see him have, right, actually have some serious flaws. Right? And even in the video, it looked like he came across some of those flaws. When you talk about the SLR, the L1A1 self-loading rifle, SLR, that was made by FN. They're normally rivaled. People debate which one is quote-unquote greater, right? The HK-G3 or the F1 or the FN SLR, L1A1. The reason why they're so infamous, the reason why these weapons are known in the streets as the bomber, right? The HK bomber, 87 used to refer to the SLR as the bomber as well. The reason why them get that name is because them fire a different type of round and they make a different type of sound. You haven't heard a rifle fire until you've heard the round will come out of this weapon. Even in the video, go back and watch it if you missed it. You can hear the M4 or the AR, whatever it is over there, fire, and then you hear when that fire. And then after the 87, let have a couple rounds. Hear what him say. Listen closely. You get that? I'm gonna play it again, just in case you miss it. Listen out to you when you like when 87, yo killer or something like that. Listen to where you come after that. Your rifle are heavy, you know. In every sense of the word. Not just the way how it fire, but in the literal weight. Far heavier than an M16 or a AK. The magazine alone, right, put a piece of weight on it, right? The most 87 they're ready for. This thing fires 7.62 by 51. Right. That's the type of round way. Right. If you pick that up anywhere on your body, right, more than likely, 9-9 to plan. And even if it catch a giant somewhere, right, it still might be a very, very bad day for you. The rounded fire is so devastating, right, that it was one of the reasons why many militaries around the world moved away from the SLR, because the round would just walk through people. Right. Soldiers would hit their targets, right, and it would fly through people and gone on the road, gone lick somebody else, or two other men get it. Such firepower cannot be, right, on the public roads, not even in the hands of the military. Right, because me say, even if the soldier, right, who's accurately firing it, hit him target, right, somebody behind him, way down the road, might end up losing life too. So imagine it in the hands of an 87, who more than likely don't even care about such a scenario. You see, he doesn't have to be accurate with it, you know. A matter of fact, it's because he probably won't be accurate with it why it's such a problem. Because you see, after him more than likely missing target, right, and that round will lick, for example, concrete block, or even board house. A lot of homes in the garrison, unfortunately, are made of board. Right? Enough of them are zinc and them thing there. Right? Now, if your regular rounds, I go through them there, right, and I catch pitnip and bed and all kind of foolishness. You see the HK G3 right, and the round of that fire. Let me show you what it do to a concrete block. I want you to look on your screen right now. That's the 7.62 by 51 in motion. The same type of round that would coming out of the HK G3 or the SLR, or the Americans them call the machine gun the pig, right? The British them call for them the Jimpy, right? GPMG, same 7.62 by 51. That's it you look on right there. So that's a concrete block. Most rounds will break up a concrete block. Right? However, the impact of licking concrete, right, normally slow down the round so much and damage it to the point where even if it get through, the round is in such a state where it won't do much damage, right, to anybody on the other side of it. That's most round. That's your regular round. You broke it up and the bracket look on the ground and not broke up, but right, the actual effect, right, the lethal force, right, of the round is greatly diminished because of a concrete block. You see the 7.62 by 51 here look man? We come out of the rifle, you see a favorite 87 with. In that video clip, let me show you what that round do to concrete block. Look on your screen again. You see that? Look on the far right on your screen. It walked through the block like piece of toilet paper. The round is still perfectly intact. Just in case you don't really understand where I look on right now, I'm going to zoom in even further because when you see the concrete block, right? Notice, broke it up. Most rounds that have broke up the concrete block in pieces and the block drop a ground. It fly through the speed, right, and force where it lit the block with. It don't even shatter the block, it just walk through it. Right. Let me zoom in on that round. You see that? That's every police and soldier's worst nightmare. The reason I mention them is because they are the ones who are most likely to face HK G3 because of the weight, right? Because of the size and weight of the weapon. Right? 87s don't typically, right? Keyword typically, not saying them never ever, but they don't typically carry these type of weapons if you go do them standard shooting and them standard robbery and them standard, when them take somebody life or carry out hit or something like that. Right? It's normally for one time them ambush police because them need if you can fire that off and then go lock it quickly. Right? With a handgun, them can tuck it back in their waist and run and go somewhere. Them can't do that with something the size of a HK G3. Right? Now, civilians, if this is the police and soldiers' nightmare, imagine civilians who are already, right, unarmed, the overwhelming majority. Right? But you see the fact that the round is still intact, that is why the SLR, right, was such a problem. That is why this round was such a problem. A round that just walk through concrete block, right, with no damage. Imagine flesh. You see enough people that bury them head in the sun and go and like say, you know, all is well. And 87s don't have this and 87s don't have that. And them rather come across, push your head in the sun and go and like say, and then put them finger them ears like pit and go la 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 la. They don't want to face reality. This, it might only be shocking to you, a law-abiding civilian, but Klansman, the One Order, the Don't Thugs, the Southside Tel Aviv, them have all of them things there. And them already know about all of them things there. I've said it before, 87s have most weapons. Most weapons we make is that Jamaica. 87s have them. They might can't use them effectively. Keyword effectively. But they have them. And they no need for no to use them effectively. Because once them squeeze the trigger and the round catch somebody or the round goes somewhere, then it was a matter of who's going to be unlucky if you go back up in night. And even though, as me say, the rifle police and soldiers nightmare because the man really want to buck up now, it doesn't mean that 87s now have Thor's hammer, right? And they know you can't defeat them because they have the HK G3. Any platoon from 1JR, 2JR, 3JR, right? If they were to come up against this, know exactly how to stop it, right? Or stop the man of it. The same thing with Geet, it fears some reputation. It's the same thing would make your favorite private throw him down very quickly. As me say, there's a big difference between a man with a rifle and a rifleman. Anyway, we can move into the Ministry of Education. As you can see on your screen, Dr. Grace McLean sent on leave as acting permanent Secretary of Education Ministry hours after Auditor General report called for probe of the JCTE. What go on now? We can look into it now. The spookiness start after the Auditor General recommend a probe be launched to determine how nearly 124 million that the JCTE received from the ministry was spent between 2018 and 2020. Right now it look like say when a time we start explaining what go on, then you know everybody start stutter. Nobody know where this gone, nobody know where that gone. Right. We also hear say, you know, the transfer of funds amounting to 11.2 million between April and how did Dr. McLean allow that? And you know, got really typical Jamaican politics. Right? Nobody know nothing. Everybody deaf, dumb and blind when they start asking them serious questions. Right now, at least probing a go on. Right? We need a little more probe to go on too. Right? Because enough of these numbers now add up. But Auditor General called for probe. And now we have the permanent secretary who, for those of you who don't know, permanent secretaries, very difficult to get them out of nothing. Very difficult. When people think about the government and public sector and how public funds are moved around, people tend to look at, for example, the MP or the councillor. People don't tend to focus on the permanent secretaries. As a matter of fact, the average Jamaican probably don't even know about permanent secretaries, what the role entails, much less the name the permanent secretary. So the NIA come out and drop some statements. Let me talk about the NIA. First I'm going to tell you what them say about this case, and then I'm going to tell you the problem with the NIA. According to Nationwide, them say there has been no reprimand, and this is a direct quote, there has been no reprimand, no suspension, no dismissal, no charge and no fine for those responsible for what it says is lawless conduct. And this again is relating to taxpayers' money that disappear, like water evaporate. No reprimand, no suspension. So now already this accountability gone through the window. Let me just say this right now. Over the years, if the Jamaican public ever hear the amount of money some of our favorite public sector staff, thief, quote unquote misplaced, quote unquote mismanaged, people that drop down on the ground, there wouldn't be enough hospital beds for all the Jamaican public if them ever even get a full idea, just a little clue as to how much money, just a hint as to how much money gone missing. Right? As them people here have been overseeing it for the last couple of decades. Goes on to state, the integrity watchdog said it is scandalous that with all the disclosures of improper spending between 2015 and 2020, no responsible officer has been surcharged and required to pay back money spent in breach of the law. I agree, NIA. Not one? Tell Mr. Jamaica. He's not a banana republic pretending to be a nation. Not one. They won't even get. This is how you know the thing serious. You see, when other countries are do for them thieving, them at least throw 1, 3 or 4 people under the bus. That's alright. Remember them 5 man they get charged, remember them 10 man they get charged. See, we do something in Jamaica, nobody get no charge. Right. The thieving just blatant. Right. You just over it in your face and nobody not get no charge. Nobody at all. The NIA is demanding that all persons serving on the boards of state agencies during the commission of irregularities be immediately dismissed by Education Minister Favour Williams. NIA, don't get your hopes up. We're talking about politicians here who, despite them say man I bring in HKG3, right, and I import them, right, like our Sandar Beach. That's the much rifle and weapons that come to Jamaica, and none of them in all these years never even bother make a law for importing weapons. You think them politicians about suddenly get serious for one little quote unquote improper spending? If rifle and them thing there what make people in the most shake, right? And people directly and sit and feel now make the government act. You think the government will go act for mismanaged funds? No, I don't know, because the good thing is now that we have social media and them thing there, it kind of harder for them certain things just disappear. Now them kind of, when certain things pop up in the news or pop up on social media, then kind of can't really ignore like one time someone don't know. Right? Hopefully it have an effect, but here what? You shouldn't have to come to this. You shouldn't need no NIA if you are telling the education minister say for dismiss people who are clearly thieving taxpayers' money. And if you tell him that, that's like telling a full-grown adult say them to be there. Imagine the NIA if you tell the education minister Favour Williams to dismiss, right, them people who clearly, right, are thief public funds. That's like telling a 40-year-old man just walk up to a random 40-year-old man and say, remember to brush your teeth in the morning here? Excuse me? It's so obvious, it's offensive. Right? But that's Jamaica. You have to tell them that. NIA is also calling on Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke to take back the Parliament the long pending regulation which would reduce cronyism and nepotism in appointments to boards of public bodies. Well, NIA that come like here tell somebody if you brought them on a spine. Because the spine of Jamaica's systems, especially when you relate to the public sector and them thing, is cronyism and nepotism. It is entrenched in Jamaican culture. It's really based on merit. One of the reasons why certain fields, industries, ministries in Jamaica stagnate is because the people who are calling the shots not supposed to them nowhere near the position where them there. So even though they have these big fancy titles, when you look upon the results them deliver, not much to write home about. You see, you can put your friend in a certain position now. But you see, when a time for your friend start prove say, them know what them do, that's when they could get exposed. Now for the stagnation in Jamaica, the lack of innovation in Jamaica, it's because I know the best and the brightest I get the job. Are the man, we know that man, or the man, we're there with that man, Let me say that again. Is it the man we know that man, or the man we there with that man, or the woman we there with that man, or the woman will like the man, yeah, and want a be a foolishness I go on in the system. Jamaica is a place where man put the mistress in a position of leadership. Man have them man and put them man for run things. I know it sounds crazy, but a real life. So you hear say somebody, right, is the chief of this, the head of that, and you assume say them know what them a do. Until that time, for you go work with them, the business with them, and then you scratch your head like, but that person don't know what them a do. How they get that job here? Cronyism and nepotism. So if you look for any kind of real innovation come out of it, don't get your hopes up. Let me talk about the NIA. I like the concept of the NIA. I like the theory surrounding the NIA and why it exists, sure. But here's the problem with the NIA, and I guess it's no fault of their own. It's not like they have a choice, but you are going. The NIA is considered the corruption watchdog. Watchdog. What dog have in their mouth? Teeth. Do you know why you're afraid of a dog? Because them teeth them. Even if him weigh 200 pounds of pure muscle and him head, right, look like a Leland truck engine, right, if that dog ever open him mouth and you look in there and she say no teeth, right, you would walk in the yard, right, and walk right past him. He can bark from now until next year. Right. If the dog no teeth, I waste that dog out. Matter of fact, right, if 87 now go in my yard and him looking me see one dog in there and that dog no teeth, him probably rub the dog belly. He might look a tummy rub for him go broke in your house. A teeth people afraid of. So the NIA is going to be a watchdog. Right. If the NIA is going to be a pit, a Doberman, a German Shepherd, a Bull Mastiff, even a little mongrel aka the Jamaican Shepherd, it still need teeth. If your favorite leaders were serious about corruption, they might give the NIA some teeth. At the moment, all the NIA can do is point out, right, and say this no look right, and you need to fix this. Them can't hurt nobody. Them can't make nothing happen to the politician. They can't make nothing happen to the permanent secretary. They have to then go back to the same people who do the corruption. I wonder if you listen to me. The NIA have to spot the corruption. Then them go to the people, they see the very people them, right, who more than likely are part of the corruption and say, hey, can you fix the corruption? Something can go so. If the NIA don't have the ability to act, right, if the NIA don't have the ability to say, right, yo, we've done our investigation and we said this not right and that not right, right, we're going to pull up this permanent secretary. We're going to proceed to drop charges on this. We're going to work with FIE separately from the government, right, and we're going to make sure say charges drop. If they can't do that, then your dog no teeth. Right. I wish a dog without teeth would rush me. Right. And I rub him tummy till him drop on his back and roll over. NIA needs some teeth. It's no fault of their own, but when time you know Jamaica serious about corruption is when groups like the NIA have the ability, right, to have some kind of effect, their favorite leaders, their favorite permanent secretaries. Until then, they might just make some recommendations and say we think this should happen and this no look right, but that's not gonna change nothing. But big up the NIA and say me, National Integrity Action. I don't want nobody to interpret this as an attack on the NIA, but the NIA needs some strength. Right. It needs some baba roots. And if you go link Mr. Chin to some ginseng. Right. Anyway, Patreon Squad, big up on yourself. PIA, you don't know, more life. Ultra Squad, stay circling, bless.